It all starts with Lynn, a sharp but stubborn student, telling her friend Yusuf that she can't stand novels or comic books. Little does she know, her story is about to become one. Yusuf replied that her mother is the one who wrote the novel and named the main character after Lynn, which is why Lynn has always disliked it. After the school day ends, we see Lynn walking with her friend, and suddenly, she slows down and tries to avoid a certain place. When Lynn gets home, we learn that today is her birthday. She calls her friend Wozen to celebrate with her, but he apologizes and says he has a commercial shoot and won't be able to come. She then calls her friend Yusuf again, who tells her she's sick and won't be able to join the celebration either. Lynn ends up celebrating by herself, feeling sad and disappointed. Suddenly, her house starts shaking due to an earthquake. A few moments later, everything stops. She sees a novel that had fallen on the floor. When she picks it up and starts reading, a handsome boy suddenly appears from the book. Lynn is frightened and wants him to leave. The boy asks her where he is. She finds out that he actually came from inside the story. She tells him his name is Tom Bazaar, and he also seems to know her. He asks how she pulled him out of the book. Lynn explains that she's just a normal girl, and her mother had named the story's main character after her. The next day, Lynn wakes up, thinking everything was just a dream. She searches for Tom around the house, but doesn't find him. At first, she seems happy that it was just her imagination, but then Tom appears again, and she realizes that it was all real. We see Lynn at school. Her friends had planned a surprise birthday celebration for her. Lynn is happy, but doesn't want anyone to know that a boy is living with her at home. She tells her friends she can't invite them over. Her friends then take her to a restaurant and give her birthday gifts. Lynn is very happy with her friendship with them. Back at home, Tom had found out it was her birthday. He gives her a pair of headphones, his own, as a gift. She thanks him and says she already has good headphones, but he tells her that he accidentally broke hers without realizing. Tom and Lynn become closer. He even uses her phone to help send out invitations. Then, one day, Lynn finds that Tom uploaded a picture of himself to her social media account, and he wrote that he loves her. This leaves her confused and emotional. The next day, we see Lynn going back to school. Lynn is talking to her friend, Isaac, who tells her that she saw a photo posted on her Lynn's account. Lynn gets nervous and doesn't know how to respond. At that moment, Tom comes to school. We then see Lynn take him aside from the other students, and tell him that she wants him to disappear from her life. Tom tells her that he knows a way to return to the novel, but only if she confesses that she loves him. We notice that Lynn doesn't believe what he's saying. After that, Tom goes to her friend and asks her for help. Later, Isaac finds out that he loves her friend Lynn, and wants to get closer to her. So she starts explaining to him how to talk to Lynn, and how to make her fall for him. As time goes on, Tom tries to get closer to Lynn, but she keeps hitting him and pushing him away. Then a girl named Jaiwan appears, and starts smiling at Tom. Later, she spills a drink on Lynn's clothes. Lynn is surprised by what happened, and talks to her. Jaiwan apologizes, and we find out that she was dazzled by Tom's beauty, and that she was jealous of Lynn, because Tom was getting close to her. Then we see Lynn return home and argue with Tom. It's revealed that Tom wants Lynn to be his girlfriend. Later, we see Tom speak on the school broadcast, telling people to stay away from Lynn, and not to get close to her, especially her friend Wozen. Lynn is very upset about everything going on, and goes to argue with him in class. She tells him that she's pretending to like him, just so he'll go back into the book. Tom realizes that nothing has changed, and they're still stuck in the real world. He tells her that she has to truly fall in love with him, so he can leave her life. Meanwhile, Isaac, who was in the classroom, overhears everything. She now knows that Tom is not a normal person, and that he came out of a novel. As time passes, Lynn starts to avoid Tom more, and keeps arguing with him. Later, Tom goes to Isaac, and tells her everything. He says Lynn doesn't want him to stay at her house. We then see Lynn feeling happy to be alone at home. But later she discovers that Tom had cooked her favorite meal. She starts feeling like she doesn't want to be alone anymore. At night, we see Lynn walking and running into Tom. She apologizes to him for everything that happened, and they go home together. At the same time, her friend Wozen was coming over to bring her favorite food, but he sees her walking with Tom, and gets upset. The next day, we see Lynn pouring water on the book that Tom came from. She notices that Wozen's gone when the water touches the book. Tom feels pain, and she realizes that the novel is connected to him. Anything that happens to the novel will affect him in real life. One day, Tom is not with her. He checks his bag, and realizes that the book is missing. The next day, Tom finds out that Jaiwan took the novel, and that she knows everything. She tells him that she'll throw the book away unless he agrees to go out with her. Tom agrees, and starts going out with her. Lynn, who was nearby with her friends, sees them together and becomes jealous. Later, Lynn returns home. She learns that Jaiwan refused to give the novel back. So Lynn decides to go after Jaiwan and get the novel. The next day, she meets Juwon and talks to her, but Juwon refuses to give it back. Lynn forcibly takes the book and runs away. The following day, Ju-won goes to meet Tom in the storage room and decides to confess that she wants him to stay with her forever. At that moment, Lin notices that Tom is missing. She starts searching for him and finds him in the storage room. She goes in to help him, but then they hear the door lock shut. They realize that the school guard left and they're now locked inside. At the same time, Woo-san tries calling Lin, but she doesn't answer. He heads to the school to look for her. Later that night, Woo-san checks Lin's laptop and realizes that she never came back home. Meanwhile, Tom starts talking to Lin and tells her that he loved living life with her and doesn't want to return to the novel. Then, Woo-san arrives and tells them he's been searching everywhere. He manages to get help and rescue them from the storage room. After Tom returns home, he finds a special notebook from Lin's mother. Inside, she had written instructions on how to return characters to the novel. They discover that Tom has to recreate a specific scene from the novel in real life, and the timing must align with the real world. They also realize that Tom must return to the novel because if he stays too long, he'll eventually disappear. The next day, we see Lin going to school with Tom. She notices that he is starting to avoid her and won't speak to her. Later, we learn that Tom is trying to distance himself because he knows he will die soon and he doesn't want to hurt her. A few moments later, Lin's friend Isaac tells her the truth, that Tom is going to die soon. At that point, Woo-san sits with Lin and eats with her. He senses she's sad and wants to comfort her. Then, Lin decides she needs to go to Tom and talk to him. Afterward, Lin asks Tom why he's been avoiding her. Then, Lin starts talking to him about the novel. At that moment, her friend Woo-san appears. He overhears them and realizes that Tom is not a normal human. Woo-san sits with them but thinks they're just joking around. Then, Isaac pours water on the novel. Woo-san sees Tom get hurt. He becomes sure that what they're saying is true. Later, Tom goes to stay at Woo-san's house because he wants to stay away from Lin and not be close to her anymore. The next day, Lin talks to her friend Isaac who tells her that she seems upset. A few moments later, Isaac says goodbye to Lin and tells her that Tom has been acting strange lately. At that moment, Lin remembers the notebook her mother wrote and she starts searching for it. Eventually, she finds the notebook and reads it. She learns that Tom is a fictional character, living in the real world. The next day, Lin goes to school and tries to talk to Tom. But it turns into an argument because he didn't tell her anything. Then, Tom explains everything. He says it was better to stay away from her so she wouldn't worry about him. Lin thinks he was wrong and tries to talk to him. But suddenly, Tom collapses, and Lin takes him to the school clinic and stays beside him. She decides that when he gets better, she'll let him stay at her house again, and help him return to the novel before he dies. Tom wakes up and goes with her. Then, Lin gets a call from Woo-san who asks her to come with him for a movie shoot. The next day, Lin goes to the filming location with her friends. They learn that the actress who was supposed to act with Tom didn't show up. So Lin goes to change into a costume and starts filming the scene with Tom. During filming, Tom suddenly confesses that he loves her. Lin realizes that he means it. He's not just acting. She talks to him and he tells her that he really sees her as his friend. Later, Lin goes home and falls asleep. In her dream, she sees that Tom has disappeared from the real world. She wakes up and starts searching for him, feeling scared. Then, suddenly, Tom appears in front of her. Lin had been crying. But when he asks what's wrong, she tells him, it's nothing. The next day, Lin starts reviewing the instructions her mother had written, and tells Tom that she'll help him return to the novel. They begin going out together, trying to live the best moments of Tom's life before he leaves. Later, she gives him a gift and tells him that the time is almost up, and they have to act out the final story, so that he can go back. But Tom refuses to return to the novel. He says he wants to stay with her and live in the real world. Lin insists that he must act out the scene with her. Afterward, Lin realizes that time has run out and that Tom might not be able to return to the novel anymore. She begins to cry and is afraid for him. The next day, Lin finds her friend Isaac, who shows her something on her phone. She tells Lin that there's another chance. They can still send Tom back into the novel. Then we see Isaac go to Lin's house with her friend, including Woo-san. They tell Lin that they must recreate the final scene of the novel to send Tom back. Lin learns that the scene is scheduled to happen a few days later. She tells them that they should be prepared, because if they don't get it right, Tom might not return to the novel at all. The next day, Lin goes for a walk with Tom. She tells him to wait for her and not go anywhere. But after a few moments, when she comes back, he's gone. She thinks he disappeared forever, and she starts crying. Then suddenly, Tom appears, and says he heard her crying and realized she was worried about him. He decides to return to the novel to protect her and preserve his life. We then see Tom act out the final scene with Lin, and he returns to the novel. Later, we learn that Lin kept the photos they took together. After a year, we see Lin celebrating her birthday with her friends. Suddenly, they hear a strange sound and feel scared. When Lin opens the door, she finds Tom standing there again, and it's clear that she's very happy to see him. That wraps up this season of our series. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.